Hello and welcome into tonight's CLNS Media Patriots Roundtable. I'm your host, Nick Quaglia, sitting here with Mike Molyneaux and Marv Ezhan. I mean, boys, we made it. We made it through this entire offseason.
It's about damn
We
time.
we scratched and we clawed for different topics, but we're here now. We made it. First Patriots game. We record this Wednesday night, September 4th. First Patriots game is this Sunday. So, guys, let's talk, though, about this Patriots receiving corps because I think it's one of the most interesting topics that's around this team right now. So, as we know, N'Keal Harry, first round pick. A lot of people are worried about that hamstring, but it doesn't appear to be the hamstring that's the issue right now. N'Keal Harry, though, on the IR, designated to return, but he's on the IR. Demaryius Thomas cut and then brought back once the move to put Harry on the IR was made. So the receiving corps, Tom Brady's receiving corps here, guys, I've seen people say that they love this receiving corps, that it's a great receiving corps. And then I've also seen, and this mostly from Twitter, I've also seen people say that this receiving corps kind of sucks. What do you think? Is this a good receiving corps? Should Patriots fans be high on this receiving corps, or should they be a little timid to buy in on these guys? So, Marv, we'll kick it off with you.
Listen, this receiving core, on paper, in my eyes, looks fantastic. You have your designated slot receiver in Julian Edelman. You have proven receivers in Philip Dorsett and Demaryius Thomas. And then, of course, you got Josh Gordon, who's the X factor. When he's on the field, we saw last year, he produces and he has a great connection with Tom Brady as your deep threat. So on paper, yes, this team looks great, but I can understand why people want to put pause on it because there are some X factors along with it. Julian Edelman, he came into the season already with a thumb injury. The guy's 33 years old. We know injuries happen when it comes to Julian Edelman. One, and you don't once you reach 33, you don't see that many receivers really continue to step up at that level. Yes, he's a reigning MVP, reigning Super Bowl MVP, and he looks great so far. And I don't believe he's gonna fall off, but it's always possible. Demaryius Thomas, the guy just got off pup, like maybe less than 2 weeks ago. He's just working himself in, and if you look at him last year, the time he was with Denver and the little time he was with Texans, he wasn't really that great. Then again, he didn't have the greatest quarterback when he was in Denver as well. But there's a question mark there. We don't know his rapport with Tom Brady. Then Josh Gordon. Do we need to say much more about Josh Gordon, guys? Like, he's great when he's there, but we don't know how long he's gonna be there for. We already know about that. And Philip Dorsett, he is what he is. You know what you're gonna get out of Dorsett. He's not gonna do nothing special for you, but he's gonna get the ball and he's reliable. So on paper, yes, it looks good, but there's a lot of question marks throughout the board.
Philip Dorsett's literally just the most, I am just here. I am a body receiver. I think the
You know
Patriots might
why?
have
You
ever
know
had.
why I'm here.
All right, Mike, before we jump over to you guys, the Patriots Roundtable is powered by betonline.ag. Head over to betonline.ag and use promo code CLNS50 to receive your welcome bonus. Much shorter read than they used to be, let me tell you. All right, Mike, what do you think? Should people be high on this receiving corps, or should they be a little timid to buy into these guys?
I think people should definitely be high on this receiving corps because let's be honest. I mean, I know Marv listed out all the X factors, but I'm gonna just be optimistic and think positive right now. You know, almost halfway through training camp, you know, no one knew what was gonna happen with Josh Gordon. No one knew if he was coming back or when he'd be back. The suspension,
We
nobody
got
knew.
we got a lot of content out of Josh
It
Gordon.
was it was just a huge question mark with Josh Gordon. So you looked at the receiving core and you're thinking, all right, Julian Edelman, hopefully Demaryius Thomas works his way back. Philip Dorsett is who he is. And then these couple N'Keal Harry, and then a couple of these guys that they brought in that didn't end up making the team or got cut or just barely hanging on by a thread. Then all of a sudden, so you see that receiving core and you say, all right, well, Patriots have had much worse over the years. They've had much worse. But then all of a sudden you get the news that Josh Gordon is back and he's not gonna miss a game. He's ready to go as soon as they hit week 1. Now you add on, like Marv said, an X factor. So looking at who these players are, yeah, age is a factor with Edelman and injury, and same thing with Demaryius Thomas, injury. and Josh Gordon, who has dealt with his off the field issues. I'm just looking at them as, if these players can play to the best of their ability, if you could get the best version of Demaryius Thomas, if you could get the best version of Julian Edelman, if you can get the best version of Josh Gordon, you're talking about probably the best receiving corps in the AFC for sure. And I think that's without a question. As long as these guys are healthy and they're on the field, I don't think there possibly is another team that is touching what the Patriots could possibly produce from their receivers.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. When you look at this receiving core, if this was like a Madden make my own team 2015, this team would be phenomenal in 2015. Philip Dorsett that year, number one, first round draft pick. Demaryius Thomas being Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas, obviously, at one point in this league, was one of the best receivers out there, one of the best receivers going. Julian Edelman, we know how he is in New England. He's been great for years now. And then Josh Gordon, I lose track of the years that he missed, but when Josh Gordon's on, Josh Gordon is one of the best receivers in this league. The guy is so naturally gifted. And then there's Jakobi Meyers, who obviously wasn't around in 2015. But Mike, you said it. If these guys play to their potential, the ceiling for this team is great. The ceiling for the Patriots receiving core this season, if they all play to the top of their ceiling, well, then, yeah, we're going to have a great receiving core here in New England to watch mixed with Tom Brady. But if they don't, Demaryius Thomas, 31 years old, coming off of an Achilles injury. Julian Edelman, another year older. Who knows how that's going to be. Josh Gordon, I'm sure he's going to come back and be that naturally gifted receiver that we've been watching now, that we saw come in last year. I mean, remember, the guy comes in from suspension after a year, and it looks like he didn't miss a game. But the biggest concern with Josh Gordon, how is he going to be on the field? How long until, hopefully not, you hope that he's going to be fine this year, but how long until he gets hit with another punishment, with another suspension? And then Jakobi Meyers, I know a lot of people are excited about him. A lot of people are excited about him. I'm excited about him. What he did in the preseason was awesome. He's one of the best stories coming out of the preseason. But remember, that was preseason. We'll see how he does once the games count. Who knows? Maybe this guy after 4 weeks gets cut. I don't know. I mean, that's a strong possibility.
And one game Myers played with Brady, it was a little shaky.
Yeah. The ceiling for this receiving core is great. If they all play at the top of their potential, their top of their level, then yeah, sure, this is going to be a great receiving core. But can fans be timid? Hell yeah, they can be timid. Who knows how these guys are going to be? Realistically, this receiving core can be a bust. Julian Edelman can be the best one out there. Josh Gordon, maybe he looks like he's slowed down. Demaryius Thomas not making those cuts. Look, Demaryius Thomas got cut. Maybe he got cut for a reason. Who know? I am very interested to know what happens when N'Keal Harry gets back from IR. I'm very interested in that entire situation. Maybe Gunner gets cut. Who knows? But I think it's pretty clear that he might be the 53rd man on the roster. But guys, I don't know. I think you got plenty of reason to be timid here with this team. And that's the question. Actually, I want to ask that, though, real quick, 20-second answers. What do you think happens when N'Keal Harry comes back? Who do you think gets bounced? Is it going to be Demaryius Thomas, or is it going to be a guy like Gunner who gets cut?
I don't believe they'll cut Demaryius Thomas midway through the season like that. I don't see that coming. He's going to be someone who they rely upon early on in the season. And, Gunner
already fumbled in his first game.
Who knows what Gunner's role is going to be on this team exactly. So I don't believe it would be Demaryius Thomas, in my opinion.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be a wide receiver. This is the NFL, man. Like in week 8, when he possibly could come back, who knows who doesn't live up to the hype, or who gets hurt, or whatever happens, and then there'll be a place for N'Keal Harry to come back. So not necessarily has to be Gunner or Demaryius Thomas in that situation.
Around.
That's true, and I feel like there's
Cameron.
I feel like there's 40 offensive linemen on this roster too, so maybe one of them will get bounced.